were talking about leadership and also how important it is to get involved and connected to the people you work with. How do you see it? Would you say female leadership is different?
Hey everyone, it's Kat, and I'm here today with Sandra Wolf, who is the CEO of Riese and Müller, and we're just going to have a little
chat. I mean, I know your English. I will help you.
So I'm going to switch over to German for a second. Guten Tag. It's great to be here today with you. Wonderful for me because I feel like I've experienced your vision, innovation, and everything that goes into the Riese and Müller brand. Having the experience of getting to meet you and learn more about you is really something I'm excited about. I haven't actually worked very directly with you yet, but I sort of wanted to start this video as an opportunity to continue to grow closer together.
Thanks for being here. Really great to meet you because I know your brother for a very long time and it has always been a great partnership, not only from a business point, but also from vision and how we see human relationships. I think we're very close. So I think even when we first met, we had the feeling that there's something between you and me, which is not only the thing that you are a woman and I am a woman. Still, that's, I think, something in business that is sometimes missing, that, and therefore maybe also women get closer together because we see that we need to be a strong force in the business.
I met Sandra yesterday and you talked about human-centered, and that is something we are so aligned. Propel and Riese Müller have so many things that are aligned, and I think that's why our partnership works so well. The ability to be completely transparent and open and honest and really truly mutually offering support. I don't know, I sort of feel like we're doing things a little different than the typical business relationships.
Propel and your idea and our idea is not only about selling products, but to bring a vision to the world. How we define cycling is something that can change and can bring something to cities and to families and to countries, and something very positive. And I think this is maybe the vision we also want to bring to the world, especially on a trade fair like this where you see also many brands. I have the feeling that there's an extra portion of human centricity in a Riese Müller bike. I mean, of course, our names are on the bike, the names of the two founders, so that's an extra one. We are very committed to this brand. Very important for us that is a community of people. And this is what you also buy when you buy Riese Müller. Not only the pure specification, the watts and the material, but you just always buy a portion of Riese Müller community feeling and what we bring in. At least that's what we want. People, families, they really change their lifestyle. So like if they buy a load, it's really something like a part of the family. Yes, of course, you have to get to know the product. You have to feel that there's something with this product. And if you look at like a photo album and you bought a load, for example, a cargo bike, many times this product is on the photo. You know, you have your kids, you have this first ride with a little baby, with a dog. It's getting part of your family life. And for many people also it's a huge lifestyle change to ditch the car and then going in with this cargo bike. And so yes, of course, we have to put all our effort to make it a love brand, be this part of the family. And also if you have a commuter bike, it's a huge part of the day. It's just yours and it's connected to you. You were talking about leadership and also how important it is to get involved and connected to the people you work with. How do you see it? Would you say female leadership is different? I just try my best. It has nothing to do which gender I have.
I agree. I don't necessarily know that it's women versus men, but I think there's a really important consideration in being able to be transparent and honest and open and to bring true feelings and experiences into business, which I think historically emotions have been kept out of business in a lot of ways. And I didn't plan on saying anything about the card that I gave. I gifted a little card yesterday, and it was just really to express how truly grateful I am and to show appreciation for you and for the brand, and I think that strengthens partnerships, strengthens relationships. I think we all experience these things, but we don't always share about them, and it can sometimes be scary to even share positive things in that way. Communicating them in a way that's like, hey, I see you. and I want you to know I see you. And just to feel validation, especially in a really busy world when things are going so fast and there's not usually time to slow down. In our company, I share very openly with all of our staff, and everyone's on the same page, and everyone at our company has been with us for a few years or more. To me, that's a testament that we're doing something right, we're communicating in the right way. And I think business in general, there's always iterations that happen and need to change and develop.
But when you said that, I was just thinking, is it something that has changed over time because we are at a different time, or has it really something to do maybe with this more women in business? Because I'm coming from the consulting industry, and I consulted a lot of highly industrial companies, heavy industry, very, very male. I mean, when someone asks me if the bike business is male, and I say, yeah, there's more male people, but it's not male. Like my experience from like the heavy industry is much different, and I remember at that time 20 years ago, so no one would appreciate something, no one would thank for something. Yes. You would be criticized a lot, which was more than normal. But has it something to do that just time changed and people are more aware of the importance of appreciating things, of being positive and also thank someone? Or is it really the one thing that also a more female perspective brings into the business? What is your...
I'm not really sure. Maybe it's a combination of both, because I know I've evolved over time, and for me, some of the opening up and just in an emotional way in business was scary, but in doing that, it's been a positive experience. But I do think it's something that's happened over time, but I would say it's a change. Yeah,
it's a maybe I'm not sure which kind of change is it. Is it because I changed over time? Is it because I don't wanted it to be like this? I experienced it. I thought it's kind of very stressful. You to be criticized all the time and never get any kind of appreciation. And then I turned it around and thought, okay, you don't have to over appreciate. You don't have to over compliment things, but to have a natural appreciation also for things that is really going well. But I'm wondering if I have changed, if the time has changed, or if it's just because I see things as a woman differently. I don't know.
I would say for me, I've changed because, and maybe what you're just saying is, when somebody does something that makes me feel good, it's sort of like it's giving me new information, and then I want to do something that makes someone else feel good. And then the more that happens, the more easy it becomes to share in that way. But something that you had just mentioned is about the load. And I think it's kind of a cool story. So 5, 6, 7 years ago, Chris convinced me that I needed to get a load. As somebody that, I've never seen a cargo bike in my life outside of Propel, really. And I just thought, that's a really interesting bike. That's a big bike. I wasn't even really riding a bike at the time, and I was like, I'd love to carry my kids around. I did have a little trailer and an acoustic bike that I'd ride around occasionally, but not all the time. I got the bike, and that was it. The bike changed me, changed my family. It is so much a part of my life that the bike is the reason why I'm sitting here, and the community that surrounds it. But because I truly, truly, in every part of my being, believe that these products are the future, and the way that it's impacted my life positively, it's given me a drive to get the message out that everyone should at least attempt to experience these products. Yeah. I kind of gave Chris a chance, and I said, okay, I'll take the risk, and I bought one. And I happen to live in an area where it's really fun to ride and it's beautiful. And the first couple weeks I was like, okay, I felt a little self-conscious. I was like, I thought people were looking at me, which they were. They were very intrigued, and more people than not were like really, truly impressed. Now I use it for everything. I have replaced so many car trips, and there's just nothing like it. My family looks forward to it. My husband and I kind of argue over which bikes we're going to ride, and I just want to always be on my bike.
It's really important what you said is also there's a certain point, especially what I see from other women, you have to kind of overcome something, and you have to be very self-confident to ride this bike, especially in areas where maybe you don't have such a good infrastructure. Maybe you want to be an influencer, also trying out new things. And I remember when I was in New York. I think in the very beginning when Chris opened the shop, and I rode a load in the streets of New York, and it was really scary because at the time there was no bike lane, or very rarely. On the one hand, it's a very big bike, and you may think, oh my gosh, how could I handle it? I have two kids, and maybe it's dangerous, but then you get self-confidence. But the next step is to be confident in the traffic. I think a man would never think about it, especially if you are not a very experienced rider, and a lot of women have a gap between their childhood or teenage age and then maybe riding with kids. And I think it's very important also to educate that it's manageable, that it's just a few rides and you feel really confident. Very often see that you have this huge gap to overcome. And that's maybe also different from Europe, or especially if you go to Northern Europe or Germany, Netherlands, where we are so used to ride. We are experienced riders usually, but in countries like the US, or if you go to Southern Europe, it's not. And I think we have to educate, especially women, that they can be confident to handle it and to handle it with kids.
Yeah.
And so, but it's a very important thing that you said. And you also, even me, when I first saw the load, when it came out of our development department, I thought, oh my gosh, it's so big. But then it took me going up and down the streets, and I thought, oh, it's even easier. It's even more confident. It feels safer because you have more. It's like with an SUV, people feel more confident because you have more car. And I think that's the same maybe with a cargo bike, and just can say to every woman, yeah, you can make it. It's not a problem, and your kids are safe, you know.
Something we see a lot in the shop is more of our customers are moms looking for cargo bikes, and they're coming into our shop, some of them never having ridden a bike at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And to have one, for anybody that's done that, awesome job, super courageous, and really worth it. And really what convinces them, and is something that's convinced me and how I choose my ride. It is literally the most efficient way for me to get around town. The impact that it has on what's important to me is time and comfort and saving time. And I only have, as someone running a business, very limited time. So to be able to get someplace, when I'll sometimes look at the GPS on my phone and see, okay, my car is going to take me an hour and a half, but the bike's going to take me 30 minutes. I'm going to choose the bike every time, no matter what's going on. How about the history? How did you end up CEO of Riese and Müller?
I don't know.
Okay, same here. I said we are aligned. We're aligned, right?
You know, I'm the type of person, so what needs to be done has to be done, or you know, no, but I mean, I founded my own company before. I was in the design agency business. I had leadership roles before in other companies. I'm from a entrepreneurial family, so it's kind of in my genes to have my freedom, I would say, and to do my own stuff and to maybe lead. I don't know if you can say it like this. And then at a time I was already talking a lot to Heiko, like in the kitchen more or less. And I thought, okay, maybe they should change this and that. And then they kind of asked me if I want to do this. And I just said yes, so I just did it. So one came to the other. I never planned it like this, but I have to say that as a mother, seeing my kids growing up, you see it very early. I feel if someone is taking over roles and responsibility, I'm the one. If someone screams responsibility in the room, I just raise my hand. Now, sometimes it's too much, because whenever something is to decide, I also like to take decisions. And the older you grow, the more you know it's not natural, so not everyone likes it, but I just like to take decisions. I like to take over responsibility. Nothing planned, but I think maybe a natural way.
So this is why I love conversation so much, because the more conversation I have, the more I'm learning specifically about you, that we are even more aligned. And there's something energetically, I think, that driven me towards you and your vision and everything that you do. And one of those things is I feel completely like I am in exactly the right space that I'm supposed to be in. I'm fulfilling the role that I've been assigned to do on this earth in my position as CEO of Propel. Same thing. How did I end up here?
Yeah.
You know, I began working for Propel in 2012. So basically when we had started, my son was also born in 2012. So needed help. I had some digital marketing experience, and I started with handling the marketing for Propel remote, out of state. And it was an opportunity for me to be at home with my son and work on building the brand together with Chris.
Yeah.
And a couple years back, I had a new opportunity that was to continue on with the mission of getting more people on bikes. And he mentioned frequently that you're in leadership at Riese and Müller, and that he would love to have a female-run company. And so he asked me a couple years back if I would consider the position of CEO for Propel, and that was a little bit scary for me because I also am the same way. I can sometimes have a tendency to take on a little extra responsibility and not always consider the impact that has on me. To kind of come into Propel in a leadership role, I feel very fortunate to experience what I'm experiencing, and I think it's just, this is kind of the cards that were dealt for me and for my family and for my life. And there's a lot of things that have positioned me and my family well to do the role effectively.
Yeah.
So Tara just interrupted the video to see if there was a specific insight that Sandra might be able to share about her impact and influence on the company. And humbly, she responded that she would not know how to answer that question. And Jörg happens to be sitting here next to us, and his response was everything. And well, she can't say that herself. And truly, the humility that is fuming off of her, it's apparent she would never answer in that way. So
you answered the question already.
I've answered it for her, and you know, that's something that I think is really tremendous. So
yeah, I always say I kind of sorted out what was already there, because a lot of things, and especially talking about this human thing, it's also Heiko and Marcus, I have to say. It's this true friendship and like letting everyone be as they are. It's very much Heiko and Marcus, and I just took a couple of things and throwed it up, and you can call it vision or you can call it brand, but I think the seeds, I mean, were there. So you can't build something out of nothing. So I just took the seeds and made flowers out of it.
Well, really cool, and I can't say it enough. I really feel truly aligned to you, the brand, even the more of the experiences that you've shared. I just incredibly grateful to you. And,
thank you.
Thank you for this conversation and getting to know you more. It's been great. So
thanks, Tara. Thanks,
thank
Jörg.
you. I hope you guys enjoyed.